Man, what time is it there exactly now?
It is 8 a.m.
Ah, that's fine. That's fine. I thought was 4 in the morning, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yes, I'm wearing the sunglasses because my eyes have not opened yet, but soon they will.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not a big issue.
Hey,
So,
I wanted to
which
talk to you and ask you, how did we get here? How did the band form?
how we started actually.
Yes.
So the thing is that before I was playing in another band, the name was Man in the Box at that time, and we were playing purely alternative grunge. But the thing is that when we try to make biggest things, I don't know how, but we found a strange way to go in Europe to play, because actually we mainly played in Italy before, and we started to play in big festivals in Europe, like for example Rock Castle in Czech Republic, or we played in Germany actually last year. And we entered this kind of concept where a lot of metal band were playing, so we were a bit the outsider, the big outsider of the situation. And at the same time I discovered a nice band, Tool.
Hmm.
So actually after Tool everything changed. If I heard Nirvana for all my entire life, when I started to listen to Tool, everything in my mind just changed, and also in my hand, I started to play different kind of style, different kind of music, and we mainly started to play this kind of grungy progressive, like the Tool of 90s, for example, the Tool of Undertow. And the thing is that we decided at one point we must change the name, because actually Man in the Box before was not that easy to find on the web. We People were thinking that we were just a cover band of Alice in Chains stuff,
Sure.
and so Euthymia started 1 year ago after the Rock Castle Festival, and actually this year will be our first year with a new name, with a new band, with the new songs especially, and with a new tour. We started our new tour actually in January with a few acoustic concerts, some unplugged things, and now we'll have a few concerts in February in Italy. In May we will be in Germany. In July we will be in France and Luxembourg, and after we don't know. Actually, we have some few interesting things in mind. Some interesting proposition in terms of big festival in Czech Republic, Russia, or Hungary, and this kind of is part in Eastern Europe. So we still managing to organize things. So it's yeah, it's a nice year. I would say in terms of music, we'll do a lot of things this year, and hopefully there will be the first CD that will be out in. We hope for next August, but I think in December. But anyway, I don't know if you check that, but we have a little EP just to present our project on Spotify.
Yes, I have, and it's great. I wanted to also ask you if that was a fair representation of what we'll hear on the first full length.
Yeah, actually, that it's still a little bridge between the first period with Mind the Box and the new one. So I don't know if you heard about that, but I Am Past, it's still mainly that kind of alternative grunge, a bit proggy with some influences of Porcupine Tree, but Eunoia, it's purely the things that we want to do. So let's say that Eunoia, it's our main ticket to the new project. It's really the um, the face that we want to show to people that wants to hear the new project.
And the track "I Am Past," I wanted to ask you what was the lyrical inspiration for that track.
Ah, the lyrical inspiration. But actually, everything started from Tool. So I started to read about this Jungian philosophy, this kind of concept of life, this life behind what we see and what we feel. So actually, they speak about third eye and soul stuff. And actually, I started to read a lot about that. And I discovered myself in this bad period that I had in the last few years, COVID, weird stuff of life, and so I started to empathize with this kind of concept that Maynard is speaking about, and actually that's it. Actually, we tried to speak and talk in this kind of songs about the empathy of the feelings that we have when we enter in this kind of um, metaverses of our mind. And actually it's really really some it sometimes can be weird, but actually if you start to read inside of yourself, it's nice to discover new stuff. And with normal music I think you can do that. As you know, prog, it's really opening your mind and your kind of the kind of the things that you have inside. And so that's it. Actually it's like talking with myself. Sometimes it's like talking with my doppelganger, but it's really a new kind of person, not a bad person, but it's a doppelganger that knows things that I never discovered about myself and about what I have around myself and what people have around themselves. So we speak about empathy, but in different kind of stages for a human being.
Sure, and I feel I agree with you as far as first time I listened to Tool, I was blown away by the creativity and the almost as albums progress, the almost spiritual feeling you get from listening to the
That's
track.
it. It's that kind of spirituality that you can feel just when you start to understand what you have around. So that's the thing. It's not about talking about Christianity of a human soul. It's not just like that. It's not like reading stuff on a Bible. It's like living yourself in different ways. It's actually we that will be the main thing. That will be the main thing that we will add in our songs. That will be the this kind of spirituality that you mentioned. That. And I must to say thanks to Tool. I hope I will never seems like a cover band of them, but actually we're trying to put ourselves in that kind of mentality and that kind of musical things. I mean that kind of riffs, and we never had any ideas about big riffs before.
Mm,
We were just playing alternative, but now we just want to feel that the power of the riff, but also the power of the lyrics in terms of melancholic stages of voices. I mean, I'm always trying to find this kind of contrast between the heavy music and the nice and cool way to sing. So it's like if a priest is singing about Christianity, but on heavy metal and prog metal things.
sure.
The, let's make let's make the concept simple. And yeah, actually, I'm really happy about that. And apparently, people are loving it. So it's strange for me. It's strange for an Italian playing this kind of stuff because I mean, you're American, so you know. I mean, I can see you with a Kiss shirt and a lot of nice stuff behind. And I mean, people in Italy are just listen to weird Italian stuff. They even don't know who Kiss are or this kind of music. It's a bit weird for us, but actually, that's why we are trying to play more in Europe, and why not maybe in America one day. That's my little big dream. We are hoping
Sure.
for that.
Well, I'd love to have you in the States. Always looking forward to checking out new bands live because, you know, it's one thing to do a great album, and it's another thing to present it live.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course. Now it's another kind of concept. I mean, you're really lucky for that, and we are really unlucky to play, let's say, American music somewhere in Europe. Not a big deal, but we feel that, and until we will not feel that anymore, we will continue to do that. Also, if in front of us there are just 20 people, but I mean, it's the concept of the underground, and we want to keep the underground feelings about that.
Sure. one of the reasons I started this podcast was the fact that I grew up in the 80s. I graduated in 84, and all my friends were playing the same 300 fucking songs they heard in the 80s and think that metal had passed away or something. So I started this podcast to make them realize that metal is alive and well, and
But that's the
it's
thing, yeah.
getting better every day. And you know, there's something for everyone now because there's subgenres of genres now. And if you have a particular taste, it can be filled. But if you
Yes.
live in the past, you're not can't become part of the future.
Yeah, man. Especially we are clearly returning back on underground stuff. I mean, check about all these popularity projects that we have all around of us. I mean, a lot of big bands are coming. A lot of people are hyping a lot about that, but actually there's nothing. There's nothing into the project, and there's nothing behind. There's just a lot of people around that are writing songs for them, without leaving any space about the artist that they are. So I'm saying that why I contacted you and why I contacted your podcast. I mean, these kind of things are really important, actually. If it's a big podcast or a little one, it doesn't matter. At the end, we must keep the underground alive, and you are doing in a good way. A lot of people are continuing to do that, and we are a lot of artists are continuing to put themselves into music, but without people behind them saying to them what they must to do in terms of riffing or in terms of lyrics. I mean, the freedom is in the clearly in the underground, and I mean, you live in a fantastic country where freedom it's a must to have. So you know how we feel about these kind of things, and especially I don't know how many bands you had before me, but I can imagine that actually the underground it's your concept too. So yeah,
Sure.
it's really good thing to speak with you about this kind of things, and with all the people that will listen to this. I mean, that means that we can still be alive, we can still
Sure. And the thing
keep
is,
doing these kind of things. Yeah.
sure. And the thing is, the thing I try to get across is that, you know, Priest is going to come and they're going to sell out 8,000 seats.
Yeah.
But um, by comparison, was their last album as good as maybe, I don't know, the new Remina album? I don't think it is. And I think there's a lot of great music that's being missed. And I want to get it out there because um, every track is as important as the other track. I was talking to another band the other day, and they asked me if I have a Spotify account. I said no, because I don't agree with an artist getting 0.01 tenths of a penny for something that they created. If I
Yeah.
like I hear from you, I'm gonna buy your CD. That's how you support bands. You buy their merchandise, you get the CD, you go to the shows. Listening to Spotify, number one, is bad for two reasons. One, people are making playlists and they're not listening to the entire album. You worked as hard on track one as you did on track 9. And the album should
Yeah.
be listened to as a whole. That's how it was produced. And so that's another reason I do what I do is because people think that when they click that listen on Spotify that you're becoming a rich man, and you're not.
Oh man, they they just ruined everything with the fucking Spotify. I mean, you know what I found really good when we started to talk about this interview. You just asked myself, just asked me, man, where can I find your music? That was the first thing. That was the first thing, and I just appreciate that. That means that actually people just lost, I think, the memory of how listen to music is. Actually, as you mentioned, it's just no, it's just like hearing greatest hits CDs and nothing else. But
Sure.
actually, Yeah, man, Spotify playlists. We missed the honey moments where people were buying CDs and things like this. And yeah, actually in Europe it's almost dead. This we went in this big festivals. Fortunately, we had this kind of little spots where people were able to come and have the CD, just have a talk with us. I mean, we started to have really nice contacts like before with people, and we just kept them. So it's buying the CD and buying the T-shirt, as you mentioned before, is the only way to socialize with people and to have real funds. I mean, now, yeah, you can have millions of people on Spotify, millions of listeners, but anyway, you will never speak with them. They will never speak with you. They will never understand the artist that is behind the songs, because as I mentioned before, making a song is not just playing a few chords and playing a nice chords and that's it. No, it's another thing. You must to know the artist. You must to study the feelings about him, how he think, what he think about life in general. That's what I did with Maynard, for example, and now I'm here to playing that kind of music without any infos about the artist. I was not able to do that, and the music is dying just because of that. I mean, we are just numbers on YouTube, actually. Also for the labels, actually, we are trying to search for a label in America, in England, in Germany. Fortunately, in Germany, it's still easier because people are still on with this kind of vintage thinking about listening to music.
Sure.
But at the same way, it's really tough because when you find a label, the first thing they ask the numbers, how many likes you have on
Right.
Instagram, how many views on Spotify. That it's not making music, man. That is just thinking like in industrial stuff, like being the boss of yourself and just making numbers.
Sure. And the thing is too is the way I try to explain it to people is here's a book.
Yeah,
If I only read chapter 9, do I really know what the book's about? I don't. That's why you don't listen to a single track off an album. You listen to the album because you don't get the full idea until you read each and every page and hear each and every song. And that's what the experience is. Especially for me growing up in the 80s, I remember going to the record store at 12 a.m., waiting for him to open up for that midnight album. Couldn't wait to grab it, run home, take that shrink wrap off, and be immersed in the album artwork, the lyrics, and putting that physical copy on the turntable.
yeah. Ah, man. I mean, people before were destroying the CDs like that in terms of listening, and every time was a kind of different. It was like watching a nice film. Every time you find a new details, and especially just check on Wikipedia, for example, how many bands just started into vinyls and CDs shops. I mean, it was like going at the bar at that time. People were going there, speaking with people, checking what people were buying at that time, and maybe meeting new friends, meeting wives. How many people just found a woman there and they are married, still listening to the same CDs and vinyls? I mean, before music had another kind of taste, another kind of concept. And yeah, we unfortunately I'm just 27. I missed a lot of nice, interesting years in terms of music. And yeah, it's everything changed, man. Everything changed. I don't know, when you speak with people. I mean, I'm probably you have bands that are from 80s, from 90s, but I think that you're the best person about speaking of the different kind of mentalities of musicians now. I'm a melancholical musician.
Mhm.
Also, if I never had any chance to live that kind of years. I mean, I was born in the 95, so I just missed all the big grunge years, all the big grunge prog, the progressive years, and I missed everything, man. I just discovering it every day, listen, but it's not the same. It's not the same, and it's not the same for the people that are hearing me. Sometimes it's difficult to be understand this at this point.
I was very lucky. I was born on November 4th of 1965, the very day the Beatles landed in America.
Ah, man, it's crazy.
Um,
And
I wanted to ask you about your musical journey. At what age did you begin, and how did your musical journey develop as time progressed?
so personally, I started with Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd was the first band that I heard when I was 12. I started with I Wish You Were Here album.
Mm.
And at that point, I was really lucky to have a lot of friends that were oldest than me, and they just shared me a lot of nice music. So I started with Pink Floyd, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Black Sabbath. I stopped myself with Pink Floyd and the Black Sabbath. Man, I probably heard them for years before finding new bands. For example, I restarted my concept with Led Zeppelin and Beatles, but unfortunately, I never understand both. But I mainly stayed in the Black Sabbath concept. There was something really creative in terms of, man, they just making a new kind of music just because the guitarist had no fingers. I mean, was completely crazy. After that, I went through different kind of styles. I went on heavy metal with Judas Priest. I went on power metal at that time. I mean, I started to be an adolescent, so I started to to be angry to listen to this kind of stuff. And after that, I discovered Nirvana. With Nirvana, I just stopped myself into grunge, and I stayed a lot of years there with Alice in Chains, Screaming Trees that I still love a lot. I mean, Mark Lanigan was a massive singer, and I think that no one just understand how magnificent was his voice and the lyrics that he was singing. Man, he started from nothing into a place where there was nothing, and I mean, it was grunge. Grunge for that time for me was a concept and a style of music. And after a lot of years, I don't know how I started with punk, but the alternative punk. So I mixed a bit the two. I started with bands like Gaslight Anthem or the Smith Street Band,
Mm.
something underground. So there, in that at that point, I started to love the concept of underground, and I started to mix that. So the concept of grunge, that at that point was not uh, an underground style of music. Clearly, Nirvana. I mean, everyone knows Nirvana now, and I discovered in the last few years the modern folk and the old folk, and so between Man in the Box and Euthymia, I did something really weird. I started to play a bit of folk just to inspire myself for something maybe old, maybe new, and I finished with Tool. Actually, after that, I don't think. I hope that I will find something else, and I rediscovered myself. But I'm really close to that at the point that actually this kind of prog makes me really happy, makes me really inspired. So I would say if I need to speak about the bands that create my artist profile, I would say Nirvana at first, Pink Floyd in an alternative way. I would say Radiohead that followed me for a lot of time, and Tool mainly.
And I also wanted to ask you, along your musical journey, what has been the best advice that has been given to you along the way?
But actually, my journey started 13 years ago, and in terms of advices, I can speak about money. I can speak about how good can be your guitarist, or in terms of projectuality, how much you must to think about the numbers. But the thing is that I would say a big lie to all the people that will listen to this. Actually, you must to understand what you really want. If you really want leave the music, or if you really want to be popular. If you want to be popular, I suggest you to find a good job, or ask a lot of money to your parents, because that is the main way. If you have the money, you will be a musician. Also, if you can't sing or play, it doesn't care. Actually, there's MIDI stuff there. There's a lot of effects. You can do whatever you want. Anyway, it's not important. If you are nice in terms of how you are, if you have the money, it's done. But the main thing that I can suggest to people is, if they really want to feel the music and live the music, the best is to find your best friends, give them an instrument, and ask them, hey man, do you want to join my band? And if you want, do you want to learn how to play? And after that, if you're really liking that, like me, for example, I don't have money, I don't have the popularity, but at the same time, I must to say that I'm playing with my best friends. I know them for a long, long, long time, and having journeys with them, gigging with them, having a long road trip with them, and playing in front of a lot of people. It's the most beautiful thing that I can do in my life. Probably I will never be a popular musician, and I really don't want that. I mean, I want to live the underground way of making music with my feelings, with my friends. So that's it, guys. Just living the music emphatically, living and playing with your band, with your best friends, and do all the music that you want, how you want, and as long you want. That is the best thing that I can suggest.
Sure. And the thing is, that's one of the downsides of being signed to the label, because the label will tell you, hey, I need this song sound like this. Well, at that point, then they're taking your artistry away. And
Yeah, that's it.
so it's fair. I'm so happy that artists are able to record from their homes now and to do things on their terms, not someone else's, that doesn't have your best interest in mind. They only have theirs. They want their money.
That's the thing, man. That's the thing. I mean, people must be able to do this kind of stuff without killing themselves and without killing their concept of music. I mean, if Universal will call me in a few months asking me to play some Maneskin stuff, I will never say yes, man. I don't give a fuck about the money or the other thing. I just want to do my grunge, my prog, and that's it. I mean, I will miss my riffs anyway. So no, 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 no. It's not for me. And I'm pretty sure that it's not for all the people that are speaking with you in this kind of strange days.
Absolutely. And the thing is, at the end of the day, I know at the end of the day, before I lay my head down, I go through my day and I say to myself, what could I have done today to make this day better that I did not do? And without that personal growth and without us becoming who we are and displaying what we're about, then there's not a whole lot of purpose in that music if you do it in that manner. You're just doing
Exactly.
someone else. And what I always have believed, that no matter what you think, if you put your music up on the flagpole, someone is going to salute it. You just got to find out who it is, and you can make your own path. I
Exactly.
Music is for everyone, and everyone has a love for it. You just have to find the people that support what we like.
Yeah. And especially music is forever. I mean, it's your path. It's the path that your son will follow one day, maybe, or he will just talk about that. It's the path that people will follow. I mean, will be just a situation that will change them. So it's important that your path, and sometimes their path, it's the good one. I mean, must be a path full of dreams, but at the same time full of affects, in terms of you must to have them near you and not behind. That's the most important thing. Your people, your family, your friends, That's it's the main thing.
Yes. And I wanted to also ask you, what's the best way to get merchandise from the band?
The best, the best it's to go at their festival, man. You can buy the things online, but will always be a situation where you give them the money, they will say thanks, and that's it. No, no, no. The main thing must to be going at their concerts, going at their festival, and share them uh, just ideas or just an hello. Some it's the main thing that we want like artists, and it's the best thing that a fan or a normal person can do for a band. I mean, the best time that I just had when I was going at concert of bands that I never listened to, and discovering new music, new band was the main thing.
I also wanted to ask you, lastly, if you could give a message to your fans, what would that message be
For my band or for the people?
for the people, for your fans?
For my fans, but just to share our feelings with other people. Like, I mean, we really want to share our feeling and our ideas with them. And if I don't know if you know that film with Kevin Spacey, if I'm able to let you smile to a fan. I had, for example, a lot of fans sending me message like, I had really a bad day. Fortunately, I had your music today. I really want that they share that smile with other people. I mean, let's share the music, let's share the empathy, and especially the good feelings with other people. That it's the main thing, and that is the job of the music at the end.
Well, I wanted to thank you, my friend, for taking time to speak with me. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
No, thanks to you, man. Thanks to you. Your My suggestion for you is to keeping this, because for us it's really important. For music it's really important. So you're doing a fantastic job with us, and we just must say thanks about your way to work and all what you do for us. Thanks, man. So thanks for all the people that will listen to this, and for me it was really really a pleasure, especially because I really love the American mentality, and I really hope that one day will be mine too, and I will be there too. So really, thanks to all of you, and thanks to you, man, especially.
You and please feel free to update me at any time with any new news as it comes about, especially when this album gets out there. I
Of
want to
course, I
definitely
will, man.
be on it.
Of
All
course,
right.
man.
Thank you, my friend, and you have a great rest
Thanks,
of your
man. Have a
cheers.
good day.